So those of you who know me quite well will know that this is a topic very close to my heart. I don't do marketing of yesterday. I'm always on the lookout for the upcoming trends, the things that are emerging, the opportunities that are kind of out there that if you carry on doing the same thing every day, every month, every quarter, every year, you're only ever going to get the same result. So I'm very, very much into responding to marketing trends. And so in this session, and actually this one is by popular demand, there's quite a few of you who have been, curiously looking at all the emerging technologies, the situations that we're facing sort of economically, and also as a society, really. There's a whole bunch of things happening. So what I thought I'd do is give you a flavor of the potential responses that you can choose to take, the priorities that you can select and can work from if you're going to respond to the trends that we have here in 2024. So as we go through this session, I'm going to be working through two things. So I'm going to identify what the trends are. We're going to go through, and there's a host of them, a really, really big, long kind of list of these. But what I'm going to do as we go into each one, I'm going to give you a little flavor from my perspective and from what I'm seeing and reading in the research and watching within the media here. I'm going to give you a flavor of what these things are. Then I'm going to break down the responses that you can take. Okay, and I'm going to break these responses down into two parts. So one will be a kind of, if you could call it, a strategic action. So this will be something that would allow you to, if you choose, if you think it is appropriate to explore further, or if you just know it's there as a thing and it's now the time to do it, then you can start to put that in, if you like, into your marketing plans. So the strategic response would be something that you would probably schedule at an appropriate point within your marketing planning. This could be within year, so it could be now, or it could be properly strategic, so the medium to longer term, however you define that within your organization and within your sector. So we'll all have a slightly different take on this, but that's what I'm meaning by strategic response. And also, I want to give you something that you can take away to make a tactical response to each and every one of the things that we're going to cover that you feel is either an opportunity, so you want to embrace it, you want to leverage the opportunity, or it might be appearing in your sector for your organization as a threat. And if that is the case, then clearly you need to have some kind of tactical stroke, immediate kind of response. So the mindset that we need to be able to create here and almost build this and foster this as a really, really good habit. And this is just great stuff for taking onwards, even if very few of these things that I'm going to highlight from the research are impacting you right now. Getting into the right kind of mindset, both strategically and tactically as a marketer, is a key way to develop both the value that you bring to the organization, but also your own career. And there's a kind of a two sort of hit win-win kind of scenario here. And I've seen this play out multitude of times, both within the clients that I work with, but also the organizations that I've been part of over the years. So this stuff really does work. So depending on your personal preferences, you can start by a strategic response. If that is your role within your organization, is a bit more of a planner rather than an implementer, then that could be your starting point, but don't lose sight of the tactics. And if you are in a role that you are all about delivery, because the nature of your role, don't lose sight of the fact that that tactical action that you've just done needs to play further upstream to helping your organization achieve its marketing goals. So there's a nice kind of duality going on here. So the strategic and tactical response with each of these things, they kind of go hand in hand, and we'll see this play out as we get into the detail. Okay, so here's our first two, and it probably doesn't come as any surprise that these are really the first two. I haven't put these necessarily as I go through these in any particular order, but it's just to say that these are the first two that have come out in the research. So the first one is the rise of AI-driven marketing. Now, Forbes has done an incredible sort of piece of work, which is called, and again, you can search out each of these sources if you want to read up a little bit more. But their particular paper was how AI is transforming marketing in 2024. That is well worth a read if you want to figure out, where the challenges are, where the risks are, but also the opportunities. So, AI-driven marketing, what is that looking like strategically? Well, I would suggest that you begin to think about investing in AI technologies to personalize customer experiences. In other words, don't just kind of get swamped by strategically all of this kind of AI hype, but start to really think deeply about how can these things actually play out in allowing us as an organization to get deeper with the personalization of the experience that we craft for our customers. And that, to me, is a very clear sign coming through in the research, is that there's huge benefit here. No matter how you see AI coming through in your marketing, to be able to personalize the customer experience using it in, researching from your CRM, for example, all the way through to, marketing automation using AI. It plays out in so many different ways. But actually, the strategic action should be thinking at a higher level, how can I use AI to personalize and deepen the relationship with the customer through the experience that I craft for them? Tactical response, which would support that, is using AI tools to segment your customers at a more deeper level and then start to target them using the technology. So look out for AI tools that will allow you to customize and create segmentation and then target that segmentation. So different messages, different channels for different customer segments. That's going to be key as we go through this year. Second theme is marketing opportunities in the metaverse. Now, metaverse, it should probably say metaverses. There is no one. There's a really great report by Gartner, which is navigating the metaverse in marketing. Strongly recommend you have a look at that one. What we're talking about here is often called virtual reality. I'm coining the phrase new reality because I think what we're going to see as we go through this, and the strategic action I'd recommend, is to develop some metaverse engagement strategies. So figure out strategically, how can I use a blended reality? So maybe a little bit of AR, augmented reality, maybe a little bit of VR, virtual reality, maybe in a metaverse space to showcase or demonstrate products and services, maybe do some team meetings or some customer engagement or supplier engagement in a metaverse room to just kind of explore and dip your toe in the water as to what the possibilities might be. Tactical response, again, supporting the strategic action, could be to create a metaverse brand experience. And there are lots and lots of examples of that. And if you want to direct message me and socials at Neil Wilkins X, I can send you the details of the upcoming, we're running these once a month now, courses on AI and metaverse marketing. And we've got a lot of great examples of some really big brands and some smaller brands who are doing some amazing brand experiences in one of the metaverses that we showcase. So if you need new ideas, you need some new thinking around how you might embrace the technology, which is no longer a barrier. So when you look at the Navigating the Metaverse in Marketing report by Gartner, you will see that technology is no longer a barrier. You do not have to be wearing goggles or, glasses or anything like that. It is completely accessible. It is very, very much a low-hanging fruit that you can pick right now. So have a little look at that one. That's our number 2 on our list here. Another theme here is the emphasis on sustainability in marketing. We've also got another day course that we run at the college here for that as well, where you'll get a carbon literacy certificate, so you'll become carbon literate. And that is something I'm recommending to all marketers right now. You have to get aware of the opportunity here. Forrester's report, Sustainable Marketing, the New Essential, really backs up that statement. So it's not just me saying it. Forrester have done a lot of research in this over the years, and their report, Sustainable Marketing, the New Essential, really means, and it really feeds into our strategic action, is that you need now to integrate sustainability into your brand's core values. You need to have very, very clear statements, a very clear positioning about your strategic intent for sustainability. Tactical response is to, basically, again, try and find some things where you're already seeing success. And a lot of organizations will be implementing, eco-friendly packaging and promotions and the like. That's a very quick, simple win. Back in the day, it was, let's do a recycling program, and it was things like that in the office. We've moved on from there now. But the strategic response is really starting to think about how important and where sustainability and having some very, very clear strategic goals and aims and how those things are going to start to play out in the marketing communications that you have. And this, of course, can go more broadly than just your organization. It can touch on your whole value chain. So there's some amazing, amazing opportunities this year for that. Again, let me know if you need some support in that one, because we've got a lot of programs and courses available for you if you need to get more support with that. Next theme is building influencer communities. Now, this one has been around as a theme for a while now, but the key here is that these two things are joining up, influencer communities. The report or the source for this one could be, there's a Hootsuite report called The Power of Influencer Communities in 2024. Again, strongly recommend you have a look at that one, because strategically, this is all about figuring out who your key influencers are. Now, we're talking micro influencers here. We're talking those in your sector or very close to you who can have a profound impact on how your brand is perceived in your sector. And the idea here is to forge long-term partnerships with them. And you can then start to build a community of advocates and supporters who can start to, I often kind of describe it as, do marketing for you, because obviously there'll be strong marketing allies with your organization and the kind of products and services that you're putting out there. So strategically, this is all about long-term partnerships. Okay, this is not about just doing the quick fix, send them a product, hopefully they'll give us a good review, and then you feel like you're working with influencers. This is about building those relationships in the longer term. And it, again, has to be a win-win. So we're seeing these influencer communities really starting to take shape now. So this is a key channel to market for you, potentially. And the tactical response is to coordinate influencer campaigns on social media, again, to support the forging of these longer term partnerships. So, I'm not saying don't do the campaigns. The influencer campaigns can be great at a very kind of, simple, basic level, but feel how those are feeding into the longer term, more strategic view of influencer marketing. It's very important to have a longer term game here, because otherwise your micro influencers that would have potentially been working with you can get snapped up by the competition if they see more longevity, if you like, in the relationship. So this is about giving, but also taking great value on both sides by building these influencer relationships. That is a key one here in 2024. Another theme is continued growth in podcasting. Now, I've been banging the drum for podcasting for quite some time, and this is probably 5-6 years now, when I've seen audio as being one of the kind of really undervalued and underrated channels to market for many, many brands in whatever sector, profit, non-profit, and public sector as well. Edison Research have done the Infinite Dial 2024 is a report. And their strategic kind of position on this one is that you could launch or sponsor a podcast relevant to your industry to see real growth and real value come through in terms of the return on investment. We're already now starting to see, particularly if thought leadership is a thing for you, if it's part of your marketing approach, then podcast is still the way to go, in my view. And a tactical response here would be using podcasting as part of your content marketing mix, and as well specifically looking at audience engagement. So seeing a very, very specific call to action coming out at the end of the podcasts that you publish, be those interviews, maybe they're kind of thought leadership pieces, maybe they're just little broadcasts around a particular topic or theme, but having a very clear call to action. So there's a tactical engagement point through the podcast, much as you would on a social media post, for example. You'd never just post a social media post and then think, hey, I've just posted it and that's it. You're letting the audience then engage further by clicking the link to find out more or to go to the next stage in the journey. That is what we're now seeing in podcasting. It is very, very much part of the customer journey, and it is a great way of building loyalty and trust. So around that whole thought leadership piece, that is going to be key as we go through the rest of this year. And I would probably suggest beyond that too. So if you're not already thinking podcasting, now is a great time to do that strategically and tactically. Next theme is adapting to a privacy-first world. Now, we've already talked a little bit about AI, and of course, one of the big hot topics within AI marketing is this whole thing about privacy. Big debate going on as to how kind of regulation and legislation is going to play out in this emerging tech space for us marketers. But what we're seeing here is that privacy in its broadest sense needs to be part of your discussions, part of your planning. So your strategic action around privacy this year is going to be all about revising how you collect and process data. So this is customer data, but just data generally. How do you hold? How do you process? What do you kind of see value from in the data holding that you have? And from a tactical perspective, the kind of response that we would be looking for here is to focus on consent-based marketing strategies. Now, it's not exclusively consent-based. You can still do, for example, email campaigns to particular individuals if it's legitimate interest. That is still holding true. But as we get more and more sensitive to privacy and more sensitive to the kind of data that brands and businesses are holding for ourselves, our data as individuals, then the world is going in that way too. So privacy first marketing is a really, really key thing. And the Drum have created a report here, privacy first marketing and its impact on strategy. So always having that, even if it isn't necessarily front of mind every day, having it just there in the background, just kind of as a filter for all of your decision making, always knowing that you're doing the right thing by your customers and for them. That's really key. Next theme is on the importance of omni-channel approaches. Now, we've heard of omni-channel. It is this whole thing about, a seamless customer experience across all channels. McKinsey have done a lot of work on this over the years, and their latest report, Winning in Omni-Channel Marketing, is well worth a look if this is something that you're into at the moment. How does this play out kind of tactically? Well, it certainly comes to me in the customer journey. That's kind of where I'm seeing this play out the most. So when we look at omni-channel, what I'm thinking here is the blend of different channel choices. In other words, what are the routes to market? What are the tools, the channels, and the methods and the media that you're using? Not the content, but the routes into putting that content in front of your target audience or your customers. And it's actually blending very carefully. So you've got the right tools and the right channels at the right points in your customer's journey. Now, the strategic action is to try and make this a seamless customer experience across all channels. So no matter where your customer begins the engagement or carries on that engagement, they get this seamless experience. And that involves us plotting out, taking time out, and just figuring out how's this going to look and feel as an experience for our customer, and actually going there as well as our customers. So really viewing things from our customer's perspective. So we've got to step out of our marketing position for a moment and kind of look inwards and sort of think, okay, if I was outside looking in, how would this look? But also, how would it feel? Would I be motivated and stimulated and enticed enough to click that link to move to the next stage in the journey? So omnichannel marketing is all about this seamless experience. So this is where I would say strategic and tactical kind of blends together, because it's this constant obsession about how does this look and feel for my customer? And that goes to the level of every individual post that you put out across your channels, right the way up through to a big kind of brand consideration as to how do we look? How is our brand being perceived? So it's kind of micro detail, but it's also macro detail too. Next one is achieving personalization at scale. Now, this is an interesting one. We've kind of heard ripples of this over recent years, but it's now really coming to light. Deloitte Insights have come up with a report called Personalization at Scale, the New Marketing Frontier. And I like this one. I think as a kind of somebody in marketing who kind of likes to understand the why, not just continually repeating the what, this one really plays into my sort of happy place. The strategic action here is about leveraging big data. So the data and this privacy that we were talking about before, but knowing that we've got a lot of data and information that we can then use, and the analytics and the insights we can actually combine together to help us as marketers plot out how we can personalize our marketing. So in other words, if we are trying to target a particular customer persona, or maybe a particular individual in a particular organization, we can use and leverage big data strategically to forge a relationship with them such that it is just so valuable, they would never want to go anywhere else. That to me that's the KPI, that's the key performance indicator. Are we going to keep people on side and really, really engaged? Because if we can, then there's customer lifetime value all in one. So the tactical response to me is about using customer data platforms, CDPs, for targeted campaigns. So whatever platform you're using right now, whatever customer relationship management system, CRM you're using, this is all about thinking to the next level. It's not just about running those same campaigns again as you did last year. This is all about really deeply thinking about personalization. How can I almost get my marketing down to be perceived by the audience as a one-to-one engagement? In other words, it feels so personalized, so personal to that individual that they would just go, wow, I wouldn't have expected that. Look, this is just for me. That's the kind of wow response that you want. And if you're not getting that right now, this is a theme that you can really focus on. And this is one of the very, very big trends right now that we need to be looking at as marketers. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff is kind of quite sort of, you could say, well, it's emerging. We haven't really seen too much of this stuff at scale before. But obviously, one area that we have seen is social media. And we've had social media now for a couple of decades at scale. So what's going on within social media? Social media today have done a report, Top Social Media Trends for 2024. And what that has shown is that we need to be adapting our social media strategies to include new and niche platforms. So what this means is that, yes, we still probably want to stay in some of the big players. So the kind of the Metas, Facebooks, Instagrams, TikTok, YouTubes of this world, but are there others that are really specific to your audience? Are there more niche platforms that you could actually be used to get more micro targeting? So are there places or communities that you could research and find? And is the kind of content that you're publishing in those areas, is it relevant? Because we've seen, the idea of, short form video really evolve over recent years. And is that still going to be the trending format of choice for your particular customer group? I've certainly seen a migration back. It's not a revolution. I'd say it's an evolution back to longer form video. That doesn't mean to say that short form video is gone. It hasn't, clearly, because we're still all consuming that. But just these little snapshots of just a couple of seconds seem to be slowly and steadily going out of fashion just slightly. So I would say maybe have a look at some of your performance data in social media and just see if you're seeing anything similar. I'm certainly seeing a migration back to longer form, and maybe that's coming about as a result of things like podcasting, continuing to grow, where that longer form, both video and audio content medium is, potentially starting to skew the data and the numbers. But look at your own figures, see what you see. But certainly the tactical response is to engage with trending formats and see whether your short form videos are still performing at the same kind of level as they were last year. A new theme that we are seeing now is the increasing importance of voice search. This is one that we do talk about in the AI Metaverse Day course that I mentioned earlier, and it really is a hot topic. This one is a new kid on the block. It really is. Search Engine Journal have done a report, The Future of Voice Search 2024 and Beyond, and this one's a really interesting one because you could find in your sector, for the kind of products and services that you're marketing, that you could steal a competitive gain here. You could get competitive edge because if your competitors aren't focusing on voice search right now, there's an opportunity for you to do this. And again, you can use AI potentially to help you along with this one. There's a lot of tools now on the market that are going to be helping you with voice search. And so your strategic action here is to think about your current content strategy and optimize it for voice search queries. Okay, we're not going to go into the detail of how you do that today, but if you do a bit of a search on that one, and certainly through Search Engine Journal, you'll see there's a number of different articles and tutorials that spin off from that main source article there that will help you to understand, how to actually do that. But it's really key that you don't forget voice as a search query because it is here. It's not coming. It's actually here now this year. So tactical response is to be implementing what's called NLP, natural language processing, in your SEO strategies. So we've had text-based SEO for decades now. It is how we've all kind of learned our SEO, search engine optimization, but now there's an opportunity to get voice in there too. So if you haven't already started thinking about that, that could be a nice added value. And that could be one you take back to the rest of the business and say, hey, I've learned this new thing. It's now coming. And look, I've got the research and here's the background report that says we need to look at this right now. And then you're going to start to see some value. So that one, I put a little asterisk against that one and go away and explore. It might still be just a little bit early in your sector. Every sector, every organization is different. But I would say just a heads up to have a little look at that one, because that could be really valuable to you. There's another theme which is utilizing AR and VR for immersive marketing. Now, this one ties into that earlier metaverse one, but it's slightly and subtly different. This is one where you can go and look at the source for this one, which is TechCrunch's How AR and VR Are Revolutionizing Marketing. And this will allow you to kind of think probably to maybe do some research and plan out this year what might come next year or the year after. This isn't necessarily, in my book, a one for right here, right now, but it is, as a marketer, it is something you need to be aware of. Is just this whole idea of using AR and VR to create an immersive brand experience. So if you are just thinking of your marketing and your branding, the way that you convey your products and services as being, well, we send a few emails, yeah, we do some social media posts, and we've got a brochure and we've got a website, then there's work to do, because this stuff is going to be on your customers' radar as they're doing this stuff in the high street. There's a number of high street brands now, clothing particularly, are starting to really take this one on. So as your customers in their private personal lives start to get used to these kinds of technologies and apps on their phones, they will start to become receptive to you doing it for your products and services. So this will become mainstream. It might not be right here today, but my recommendation is to go and have a look and see what the opportunities are, because again, this could be a competitive edge for you. Next theme is enhancing transparency and trust with blockchain. Now, the Forbes report, Blockchain's Role in Marketing Transparency, will tell you everything that you need to know about this one. Blockchain, for me, the jury is still out. And I know as a concept, it is still very, very, distributed kind of networks, and not having a central point of control is still a well debated, and I guess you could call it, from a business sense, slightly controversial kind of topic, because it is rattling the cage of the way that we've done things before. The strategic option here is to be leveraging blockchain to improve customer trust and data security. So this isn't having a central holding point for the data that you have. It is distributing this holding. I don't know. For me, the jury is still out. I'm not going to kind of pass a judgment on this one. I'm just raising it as it is a theme that is on our list. It is on our radar now. Tactical response would probably be to go away and do some research. See if there's any kind of opportunity here for, implementing blockchain for transparent supply chain interactions, or maybe ad delivery. There's quite a few examples in Forbes's report there that give those as two examples of ways you can use blockchain. Now, this may well be way, way early in the game for you in your organization, but if you're already doing this, it is now the chance to take the strategic action, which is leveraging. In other words, looking for where the return on investment's coming from. Can you now start to prove the value of this stuff, rather than just, yeah, we did it, we dabbled a little bit, I'm not really sure kind of whether it worked or not. Now is the time to up the ante and start to set some goals and targets, and start to see whether or not this is actually producing some value. If it isn't, maybe you trim it back a little bit. If it is, then you scale it up. And I think for me, that's where kind of the blockchain thing has happened to this point. And I think now it's about those kind of strategic decisions. Is it relevant for us? Are we going to just play the sitting and waiting game? Certainly for me and my business, that is where my mind is. It's on the radar, but I'm not really kind of looking at it to any great extent at this point. Next theme is innovations improving customer experience. Harvard Business Review have created a report called The New Innovations in Customer Experience. And again, this goes back to just another kind of reminder, if you like. It's a slightly different take strategically on this blend of seamless service and personalization in customer experience. I would certainly see this from a tactical perspective as being a filter for everything that you're doing. And very much using customer feedback and the analytics of the data and insights that you have to improve what they call service touch points. In other words, having plotted out your customer journey, so that step-by-step interaction with your brands and your products and services through the channels that we've been talking about, using customer feedback and the data at each and every one of those touch points to see if you can make little incremental improvements to see more of a throughput. And that will come out in the whole customer experience kind of rating, if you like. So if people are saying, yeah, I love this experience, yeah, I'm happy to click on to the next point in the journey, then you're getting them one step closer to that point of conversion. And to me, that's the key thing. Again, it comes back to return on investment, ROI. If you've plotted your customer journey out, but you're still seeing little bottlenecks, so they get to a certain point on the website, then they drop off. Or if there's a certain channel that they get to, and they never seem to then come back, or they never go any further forward in this route map that you've plotted for them, now is the time to be figuring out the why. Why is it that we're not getting people through that stage? And maybe it's about the customer experience that you have at that point in the journey. So that'll be something well worth looking at. Next theme is the evolution of video marketing. So there's a report by Wistia, which is the State of Video Marketing 2024. And this is all about embracing new video formats and distribution channels. Now, I'm seeing video pop up absolutely everywhere. Metaverse, I'm seeing it now very much in the likes of Spotify, for example, where podcasting used to be just audio, podcasting is now video. So, we're seeing YouTube now as a podcasting channel, for example, so that the whole idea of video version 2, as it were, and these kind of engaging short form video content for social media as being obviously something that is still relevant, but really starting to understand how you can leverage video going forward. Are there new places and new spaces where traditionally video hasn't really been a thing? But now certainly could be. And we're seeing video pop up on poster and ad campaigns that we see on the high street. We're seeing them on billboards. We're seeing them pretty much everywhere. So wherever you see content about your brand or your product and service coming through in the marketing, is there an opportunity for video? Have a look at that report, because that might give you some new, quite creative ideas for how you can embed and blend video going forward. And what this is doing is it's kind of leading into our next theme, which is advanced content marketing strategies. Content marketing trends for 2024 by the Content Marketing Institute has thrown up a whole host of different new opportunities that are coming into play here. I mean, a strategic action that we really need to be doing here, and this is probably something that is good practice anyway, even though it isn't something that we all do religiously, and we probably should be as marketers, but developing a dynamic data-driven content strategy. In other words, as we do our analytics, as we put different formats of content into different channels, and then watch how our audiences respond, how our audiences express their preferences, how our audiences engage with this kind of data-driven content, then we can continuously improve what we're doing. Gone are the days, absolutely gone are the days where we just put content out and consider ourselves a marketer. We have to see that as just maybe the first third of the content journey. So the data then comes back to us. That's the second third. So the analysis of what has gone on is the second third. And then the evaluation and the changing of what we're going to do next is the third third. So 1/3 is publishing, 1/3 is analysis, 1/3 is evaluation and improvement. And I think we're reinventing our content marketing strategies accordingly. The most successful businesses on the planet are doing it this way now. And that report by the Content Marketing Institute gives us really nice guidance to really kind of stretch the boundaries on what is possible with content. But having said that, what we're also seeing is that less is more. There is another theme, which is the rise of digital detox trends. Now, this is an interesting one. The Guardian did an article called The Digital Detox Trend and What It Means for Marketers. And the idea here is that even though we're saying, yes, it's customer experience, yes, we want to get really clever with all this lovely content that we're producing, the well-being of our customers and our audiences should be paramount and should be part of our content and marketing campaign strategies. We need to respect digital well-being. It is not great to be encouraging our customers to be spending even longer on screens of any and varied sizes. We need to be offering experiences that balance their well-being, that don't add to screen time, but just give better value for the time that is had on screen. And it's a responsibility for all of us, really, that we as individuals shouldn't be spending more time on screen. We should be spending appropriate time. So not necessarily getting our customers to be doing more, but probably more effective engagement with us. So the number of steps in our customer journeys possibly are going to need to reduce. The number of channels that we choose, even in that omni-channel approach that I was talking about before, possibly this year need to be stripped back. And again, it's always going to be the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. 20% of your channels, 20% of your communication is going to give you 80% of the value. 80-20 rule applies absolutely categorically here. So your role as a marketer in this whole digital detox trend is to figure out what is the 20% of the activities and the marketing I do that gives me the 80% return. Because I can guarantee you that is the balance. That is what's happening. I wish I was Pareto back in the day, because he found an incredible balance there, and it just applies to all of the marketing that we do. But the trick is to find that 20%. So that's what I'm recommending you try to do with that digital detox trend. We're also seeing advances in mobile marketing. Mobile marketers come up with a report, Top Mobile Marketing Trends for 2024. And the recommendation here is to innovate with mobile-first strategies and technologies. So as we strip back the marketing to the minimal number of steps, the kind of critical path, as we could call it, through the communications that we do, we should be making sure that we don't lose sight of the fact that most of our content, most of our interactivity, most of our engagement is going to probably be mobile first. So enhancing our mobile customer experience and developing mobile-centric campaigns is going to be absolutely key. We've known this for many years, but it's still becoming the thing. And even now, metaverse marketing, because you might say, well, how's that going to apply to some of the AI and metaverse stuff, the emerging kind of new realities that you were talking about before, Neil? Well, I would say now metaverse platforms and stuff are becoming accessible through mobile technology. Spatial.io, which is my go-to metaverse to demo such things, has an incredible interface on the iPhone, for example. So mobile first is definitely here to stay as a trend, and we're seeing this big time this year. Another theme is innovations in e-commerce. So even if you don't sell, so do e-commerce yourself, you can learn a lot from Shopify's e-commerce innovations and trends for 2024, because a lot of what the e-commerce industries, and there are many, many e-commerce industries, a lot of what they do and how they kind of have trailblazed customer experience can be played out across all different sectors, both profit and not for profit. There's so much we can learn. So what we need to be doing here strategically is to adopt new technologies and platforms that can kind of emulate the sort of experience, that step-by-step e-commerce journey within our own customer journeys, even if we don't interact and don't offer up an e-commerce service. We can certainly still learn a lot from those. But if you happen to be selling products directly through e-commerce, then your tactical response could certainly be looking at AR, augmented reality, for virtual product experiences and for streamlining checkouts. There's a lot of really, really good stuff now available where literally using AR, you can literally purchase with one click. So there's a lot of new opportunities for, as we say, streamlining, but making this kind of digital detox thing in a still kind of engaging way actually a reality within your offer. So that one is well worth looking at. We're nearly there with our list of themes. As you can see, there's a lot of them coming through. And we've already covered a little bit the whole kind of data and data privacy thing, but leveraging data for deeper insights is going to be key. All of the stuff that we've talked about here is going to be really, really important to be gathering the data. So whilst we say less is more, it probably isn't when it comes to data collection. MIT's technology review has come up with a report, The Next Wave of Data Analytics and Insights. And what they're saying is invest in advanced analytics tools for predictive insights. In other words, don't just look at the numbers and say, yeah, there's a report, I know the numbers, and share it with your organization. Start to use things like AI to predict from those insights, from that data, what should we do? What could we do to get more value? next year, next month, next quarter, however long it is, start to get some predictive insights. The tools are there to help you. So as long as you're gathering the data, use these kinds of tools, the AI tools that are available to you, and even ChatGPT with its version 4 and the little paperclip trick that you can do to do data comparisons and data analytics, and get it then to give you some insights and some predictions as to how best to improve things. And then you can obviously apply those insights to customize your marketing messages and campaigns tactically. So those are some real quick wins because now we've got the tech to support us. So gone are the days where you had to figure it out. It's there now, available literally at your fingertips. And we're going to see this play out particularly with evolving strategies in B2B marketing, which is our penultimate theme here in this particular session. Forrester's B2B Marketing Strategies for 2024 is a great read. If you're in business to business, they've got a lot of great insights there in that particular report. And the strategic action here is to strengthen thought leadership and content marketing. That is the key theme that's coming through in B2B. What do you want to be remembered for? That's you as an individual, as a marketer, but also your team, your brand, and your higher level organization. What do you need to be and want to be remembered for? Because that is thought leadership, and that needs to ripple out through content marketing. Pretty much everything you do needs to be consistent with that thought leadership, proposition, and strategy. And if you're not being remembered for anything because you're a little bit commoditized, now is the year, now is the moment to really kind of double down on that, because that is key. And the tactical response then is pretty obvious then, really. You can leverage places like LinkedIn for networking and lead generation around that thought leadership position. So that'll be something that we will be covering in future sessions like this, because I know a lot of you, obviously, listening to this are in B2B roles, you're in B2B marketing, but it's great to hear that Forrester have identified that one as a key strategic focus here this year. So the fact it's the penultimate theme that we're focusing on doesn't mean that it's not relevant. It's absolutely relevant to most of us. And the final theme, which kind of just gives us that little reminder that, yes, there's some localized stuff. Yes, there's some stuff in our sector that we need to do. The final theme is adapting to global marketing trends. McKinsey & Co. have got global marketing trends for 2024, and you can search that one out. And what they will be telling you there very clearly is that even though on a day-to-day basis, you can be focused on your sector and the micro, you do need to keep one eye and one ear on the macro. So aligning marketing strategies with global customer trends, keeping your own eyes open to the emerging technologies, sustainability, preferences, trends, optimization, leveraging, the data and the insights that we've talked about. And then the tactical response to those big picture items is localizing your content and campaigns to fit your regional or more local markets or sectors or personas. So as a marketer at every level, I'm not just talking about the strategists amongst you, I'm talking at every level, we need to keep a finger on the pulse of the big picture stuff. How is the economy looking? Is our customer feeling okay, or can we help them? How can we improve their well-being? How scared are they about stuff? A lot of decisions are still being made based around fear. So let's see if we can help them with that and ease their pain, ease their challenges, solve their problems. That is part of what we do as marketers. So there's a big opportunity at the macro level, bringing those things down and figuring out as marketers and communicators, what can I do to help my customer who is living in that macro world, but what can I do at a micro level to help them? Because that is the surefire way as we respond to these 2024 marketing trends of building that loyalty and trust, so that when we come out and see better times, more profitable times, more lucrative times, we're going to be the go-to organization, the thought leaders, but also the trusted allies in our customers' minds. Because ultimately, that's really why we're here. That's our role. So the strategic action for you to remember, and there's the big takeaway here, is to embrace a forward-thinking marketing mindset. Keep your eyes and ears open for opportunities, but also be the problem solver. Solve problems for your customer. And the tactical response is stay informed on emerging trends. Watch your competitors. Don't necessarily copy them because they might be getting it wrong, but listen and look at everything that's going on, everything that's happening, and then take that information and turn it into intelligence so that every day your marketing is just getting better and better and stronger and stronger. So I hope you found that useful. Those are a whole range of different trends and opportunities and stuff that we've seen as we've gone through all of these elements and all of these trends and themes that we've covered. Not everyone is going to be at the same level, obviously, for you as an individual. But if you can pick out maybe 3 of those and start to kind of work on those both strategically and tactically, and even if it is, go away and doing the research, go away and tracking down some of those reports, those articles and those white papers, just informing yourself of what is moving now in the world and not assuming that what you did last year is going to apply this year or next year. Everything is moving, and that is the new normal that we face. So good luck. Hope it is useful for you, and I'll see you on the next session very, very soon.